standing here with Patrick at aquacultureranch.com, and check this out, man. So Patrick, tell us what you got here.
Well, right here in the front, we have 150-gallon Rubbermaid tanks. Each one of them is set up where I can do individual monoculture. I'm running these particular tanks at different levels. Two of them are doing tumble culture with a red macro from Hawaii called Red Ogo. The other one is an ornamental red macro, Gracilaria Hay. And these other tanks have rocks and pods. And
let me see one of your rocks.
Let's see. I think we can find one here that's pretty representative. This particular rock in the lower area, these are some hard corals that have died and have been encrusted over by bryozoan. And now I'm starting to get some macro on this, which I need to bring into a different cleaning station, and we'll get this cleaned up.
So was this dry rock to start with, or is
this particular rock was harvested by a diver? He formed this rock from Bimini limestone and put it in his system, which is the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And some of it's been in there for 10 years.
Wow.
And I got it 8 months ago, and in some cases I'm using it as seed stock to inoculate another product line I have called Edwards Plateau Premium Economy Rock. Let's go to the biggest section of the tank and I'll show you that.
Okay, let's go. How many gallons do you think you have in this system?
Well, I know what I have. At the operating level in this tank, I have 5,000. I have two separate satellite systems together. All three systems total 7,000 gallons, operating levels, wow, and 10,000 max capacity level.
Does this tank, do you have stock in this tank?
No, the only thing in this tank is some rock that I'm beginning to inoculate. Some of this rock has only been in here for 3 days. It's starting to pick up a rust red color. That is not limestone, this is chert. A little harder than limestone. This is some more chert from from my creek bottom, the Bear Creek bottom.
So this is all salt water?
This is all salt water.
Wow.
Every now and again, I have a 150-gallon tank. I get out of my jacuzzi at 105 degrees and get in it at 75, and I like it.
I see.
But it is salt water. I have skimmers on this end. We have basically a table that is only 12 inches deep, which allows circulation from the very center of the tank. The tank is 20 feet long. And that allows that circulation to race across the top and then return at the bottom. And so it exaggerates the circulation on the top and lifts the product closest to the sun.
What are the sprinklers for?
I use these for evaporative cooling. When I first installed it, one night my temperature had gotten, at 7 o'clock at night, my temperature had gotten up to 82. The next morning it was 72. When you do the energy balance on that equation and do the thermodynamics, this sprinkler system is pushed by a half horsepower pump, but it did the equivalent of cooling of a 5-ton air conditioning unit.
Wow.
For 1/10 of the cost. So it's to cool the water.
Let's how do you replenish the all the water that actually evaporates from the system then?
My makeup water comes from the Trinity Middle Aquifer. I have a well that I put in February that can maintain 25 gallons a minute. And I use about maybe 200 gallons a day to make up for the evaporation. I haven't done an energy balance on that part yet, but I'm going to put a flow meter on the makeup, and that way I'll know exactly how much I get in.
Is there an auto top-off system here?
Yeah, it's right here. It's a manual, what you would see in a cattle trough.
Oh,
And while you're on this end, that's the digital temperature right now, 79.9.
wow. So how hot do you think is it outside?
Outside, I'm sweating. It's 98 degrees out there, and it's humidish. It's humid.
Yeah. It was 102 yesterday. About
Yeah,
this time,
it'll
so.
get to 102 later on this afternoon. It's 1 o'clock.
Wow, really impressive. So let's go inside and take a look at the tanks you got inside, okay? So Patrick, before we go inside, what else you got going on outside here?
Well, initially when I moved here to Austin, I brought a 75-gallon tank and put it on my porch, and I brought all my systems from a system that I moved to from DeRidder, Louisiana. And since then, I put some tanks in the ground.
So why do you put them in the ground?
I'm using geothermal cooling and heating because summer and winter temperature fluctuates a lot. And this gives me a lot of insulation from that.
So these are currently turned off in the water flow just so we can see into them. Is that right?
Well, the water's still flowing, but the air is turned off so you can see into them. I'm still circulating 3 gallons a minute between the 5K tank. You just don't see it because all the pipes are underground.
Yeah.
The only thing that's above ground is this first pipe here, and that water is coming. I have a 40-gallon stock tank close to my porch, and that's the water that's coming straight in from the 5K tank.
Oh, okay. Want to look at that stock tank?
Sure, it's right here.
So explain to me why is the stock tank separated here?
Well, there's 2 subtleties to it. I wanted to get the head pressure from that pump. I wanted to raise the head pressure instead of just valving it down because the pump at the tank was pumping more than the pump returning. So I slowed it down by bringing it to this tank. But the other reasons, it allows me to put my instrument probes. I didn't have to move my instrument probes out of a protected area. They're in my porch right now, and I'm using this to operate my Apex control system.
Does having lower flow rates like that, does that affect any of the product that you sell?
Well, it does. It depends on what you're growing. The reason I'm slowing it down here, aside from what I just said about matching flow dynamics from the 2 different pumps, I'm slowing water down here and I'm putting macroalgae in this tank to get it ready to ship. Because in my outside grow tanks, it has 900 par and grows very fast. I don't want it to be shipped that way with 3 days of darkness. So this tank is to slow down some of the macro that I ship so that when it goes through 3 days of darkness, it doesn't go sexual.
Ah, I see. So is this the same water that's in
all the water now is matched and is the same. And so I'm using this. It saves me from having to run a wireless Apex control system or another 200 feet of Ethernet cable. The water's the same in all of my systems on the outside.
Gotcha.
I have a 75-gallon tank in here that's the same. It allows me to move rocks around to do different curating jobs without having to worry about acclimation.
Okay, well, let's go inside.
It's getting hot, brother.
It is. So now we're actually not yet quite in the house, but we're on Patrick's back porch. And tell us what we got here, Patrick.
Well, this is a classic tumble culture for macroalgae. I initially, because of my oil field experience in the Gulf of Mexico, I used the term vertical loop current. And that's what we have here. We have a continuous circulation from top to bottom. It goes, at the top it goes left to right, and at the bottom it goes right to left. The reason, several reasons that this is efficient, because of the inertia of mass. Once the water is circulating, it's easy to stay there. So the electricity to operate this system is very economical. I enhance that with the air uplift. And then on the other side of the coin, the macros, they are, as they tumble around, They brush against other mackerel. They clean off their surfaces, which epaulets usually cover. They break off and frag, so I don't have to frag to get new starts. It just all the way around. Normally, now this particular culture has 5 different red mackerels in it. At various times, I may only have 1 macro. It depends on demand and where I'm at in my process.
So, and this is also the same water?
Same water. Same water, maybe a few degrees warmer. And that's the reason I have the fans here for evaporated cooling. Over there I have the water fountains for evaporated cooling, and here we use the fans.
Okay, well, ready to go inside? And
Let's get cool.
Okay. So, what is this, you ask? Well, we'll find out in part 2 of the Aquaculture Ranch tour.